Hi everyone, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at, and I'll show you how to install the EcoHitch Custom Fit Front Hitch on our 2022 Ram 3500. Adding a front hitch to a truck really makes a ton of sense. You may be using this truck to tow all the time. That means that receiver in the back of the truck is going to be filled up, so you have no place to put your accessories such as your bike rack or your cargo carrier. You can drive around with those in the front of your truck, or you can throw in accessories such as a snowplow or a winch. Here's a closer look at our hitch installed on our neighbor's vehicle. The cross tubes are going to be completely hidden behind the fascia, so all you can really see is the receiver opening. That's going to be your standard 2-inch by 2-inch opening. Most of your accessories will fit right in there. And this hitch does come with a pin and clip. That's to hold on the license plate holder, which I'll show you in a second. But if you're adding accessories to this, it's just your standard 5/8 pinhole, which your pin and clip will fit right into. And really nice feature of this hitch is with the stock license plate location, it actually hangs down about halfway on the receiver. So they thought of that. They give you covers for the holes where the factory location is, and then also give you a holder for your license plate. So when you're not using an accessory on this receiver, you can just simply slide it in and insert your pin and clip, and you're ready to go. I'll slide our license plate out for some quick measurements. Start with our ground clearance. From the ground to the top of the inside of the collar here is at about 16 inches. Then at the bottom, you're at about 13 inches. It really doesn't cut into your factory ground clearance too much. Then from the center of our pinhole to the edge of our bumper is about 4 1/4 inches. That's a number you'll want to keep in mind for any folding accessories that you might add on to ensure they don't make contact with that bumper. As for the weight capacities with this hitch, we have a tongue weight rating of 1,000 pounds. That's the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. And this isn't necessarily for towing around town, but say you're trying to get your trailer pulled into a tight spot. They do give you a gross trailer weight rating, and that's 10,000 pounds. And then for your winches, you also have a line pull rating of 10,000 pounds. If you're looking for a front hitch for your Ram, I really think this is your best option. I really like the fact that you can install the license plate holder and go back to that factory look. You really can't tell there's a hitch at all. If you have any questions or concerns about this hitch or anything else we offer here at eTrailer, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to get you pointed in the right direction. When it comes to installing the hitch, there is quite a lot of hardware, and the crossbeam does get quite heavy, so you want to have an extra set of hands to help you out with that. If you're not looking to get this installed yourself, then check out our dealer locator. You can find someone local to you that would be happy to get you set up. If you are looking to see how this gets installed and follow along, then I'll walk you through the process. To begin our installation, we need to remove this lower air dam here. So it's going to be quite a few 10mm nuts holding it up. We'll start from one side, go over to the other. And when we get to the ones towards the center, we'll actually have to get those from the outside and the front of the vehicle. In order to get this nut that's kind of lined up with where our bumper mounts, the only way I can get access to it is with a flex head wrench like this, because it's so tight up in there. And we'll get that one removed, and then we can move on to the center ones. Center ones that I was talking about are inside this opening here. So we'll just get our wrench up in there and get those taken off. And now we have 2 push pin fasteners in the center. So with these, it helps to have a trim tool like this. Pop that center out, and then the whole assembly should come out also. Now if we pull down on our air dam, it should be pretty much free, but on both sides there's going to be a metal retaining clip holding it in. And these can hold on pretty tight, so I'll get a flathead screwdriver, kind of push on that to release it. To release them, what I did was push on this side, just push in on that tab and kind of tilted it. And then I went on the inside and did the same thing, and it releases pretty easy if you do that. And we'll just do that same thing with the passenger side. And we can set this aside. We have 3 push pin fasteners to remove on our intercooler shroud here. So once again, I'm just using a trim tool, getting up under them, and these are just one piece. So just pop that entire thing out. On the front side of that shroud, we have 2 10mm bolts. The bottom ones you should be able to get out with a electric ratchet. But those top ones, you're definitely going to need a wrench to get in there. Once you have those 2 bolts removed on both sides, I'll just reach up and kind of turn the shroud. That'll let you lower it down. And we can set that aside. Now we need to cut both the air dam and the intercooler shroud. There's going to be measurements in your instructions. On the air dam, we're just going to cut straight across this little section here and then go up according to the measurements in those instructions. I'm going to use a reciprocating saw to make those cuts. Once you get both of those cut out, I like to just come back through with a razor blade or a file and clean up our edges. Depending on your setup, ours may be a little bit different. There are some that have a vertical bracket coming down here. Your instructions will be slightly different, but similar process. But we're going to remove this lower bolt here. This is an 18mm. And there is a nut on the other side that we'll have to hold with a wrench. We'll slide that bolt out. And then for our 2 tow hook bolts, those are going to be 24mm. Then once we slide these bolts out, we can work our tow hook out from the front. And this, you just want to wiggle back and forth while you're pulling out on it to work it out. And we'll get that set aside. Now we can take our fish wire. We're going to feed 1 fish wire through both of these bottom holes. We'll start with the farthest away first. Feed the coiled end up and out the front of our frame. We'll take one of our star washers and the big 2-inch long bolts, thread those on, and pull those back out through that hole. Make sure you don't get caught on the front of your frame rail. Now we can slide our bracket up into place. This notch here is going to be towards the front. You'll kind of see what it lines up with. And we're going to use these 2 lower holes here. Just feed our corresponding fish wires through each one. Get those worked up into place. And just whenever we take these fish wires off, we do want to carefully unthread them. Don't just go pulling on them because they only give you 2 in the kit and you'll need to use these for the other side. And we'll take a flat washer, split washer, and thread a nut onto both of those bolts. Then we'll slide our tow hooks back into place. Just get it lined up and once again kind of wiggle it in. You could use a dead blow to get it pushed in if it's real tight. But once we get it lined up, we'll take some of the finer thread, bigger bolts in our kit and a flat washer. and feed those through both the holes that our tow hook originally was mounted to. So it will take some moving around just to get everything lined up. It's honestly pretty tricky, but once you get one, the other one should go in pretty easy. We will be using the factory nuts for this, and you have to make sure that the tabs are lined up with their holes. So this back one, you'll have to pull back on the bolt, get the nut kind of situated, and then thread that bolt onto the nut to get it started. And this front one just kind of slots in between the tow hook and the bracket on your frame. We'll take one of the skinnier long bolts with a flat washer and insert that through this hole that we removed the bolt from earlier, and use the factory nut on the other side. I'd recommend grabbing an extra set of hands. I have my friend John here to help me out. So first we'll get our receiver put through those holes that we cut. It is flexible plastic, so you can just kind of push against it. And then we'll have to get one side bracket lined up with the square. And once we get everything lined up, we'll take a bolt with a flat washer, feed that through, and follow it up with a split washer and a nut. Along with the 4 obvious ones that go around the tube here, we also have a bolt and washer that goes up top. So just don't forget that one while you're getting all your hardware set up. Now we can start tightening everything down. There is a sequence in the instructions that they want you to follow. So I'll follow that with both tightening and then finally torquing. So we're going to start with our 2 tow hook bolts. These are going to be 24 millimeters. We'll do our 2 large bolts right here, right under our tow hook. These are also 24. Then we'll do that M12 bolt that we use the factory nut on the other side. Then we can move on to this one down here. This one's going to be a 19 millimeter, and you'll need the 18 millimeter on the nut side to hold it in place. Then we'll tighten down these 4 that are holding in our cross tube. Now we can torque all of our hardware down in that same order that we just tightened them down in. And some of these torque specs are pretty high, so it does help to have a longer torque wrench. And just take your time, make sure you're going over every bolt. Torquing them down is going to really ensure your safety. Now on both sides of our receiver, we need to drill a couple 1/4 inch holes. These are going to allow us to use the hardware in our kit and bolt this air dam up to the receiver. So they give you this little template block. So we'll just have to see where that tab is coming out of our receiver, kind of line that up, and then I'll just use a drill bit to mark it and take that out and kind of hold this away from that bracket and drill that 1/4 inch hole. I'll take one of the button head screws in our kit. These are going to be the longer ones, and put that through the hole we drilled and the hole in our receiver bracket, and slip over a flat washer and a small nylock nut. We'll get that tightened down. This is going to be a 4 millimeter hex and a 7/16 to hold onto that nut. So we'll just remove our license plate, and then behind that you're going to have 2 of these. I already took this one out. But we have these covers in our kit to make it look nice and clean. And the way I remove that is just with our trim panel tool. Try to get up under it and pop it out. Get that taken all the way out and just pop your new cover on. Then we can take our license plate holder and our license plate and put some hardware through that. So what we'll do is use those shorter button head screws. We'll use the shorter button head screws, get that pushed through, and just like our other button heads, they're going to get a flat washer and a washer on the back. We're just doing this temporarily, so I'm not going to put all of the hardware on, but if you were doing this at home, you would want to put one in each of these holes to make it nice and secure. And that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the EcoHitch custom fit front hitch on our 2022 Ram 3500.